James MAINA is the team leader of KOCH Hope organization that runs community impact projects with a mission to create positive change and help KOCH reach its full potential.
I was born and grew up in KOCH. And yeah, the journey is is never tough growing in a slum setup. So I went for the nursery school just down here, a place called Redeemed, and went to primary school just next year called St. Daniel Comboni Primary School, former KOCH Primary School. It's a public school. So, and then went for high school study just to our neighboring Kariobangi, just here, called Our Lady of Fatima Secondary School. And after that, I used to play football. I grew up playing football for Madara Youth Sports Association. So in as much as the community had its own challenges, for me, I found solace in football. So football did me good. The reason I feel I need to speak about football is because it connected me to different people. And it gave me actually exposure of visiting Europe, because I played for Madara Youth Sports Association, and there was an opportunity for the under-16 team to go to Norway to represent Kenya. So I had that opportunity. And through that opportunity, I got myself scholarship. So with the scholarship, I was able to study ICT, which was around web design and development, which I later moved to other ladders like doing design research, and worked for a couple of companies doing UX research, design research using HCD as a discipline. I come from a family of 5 siblings. Luckily, I grew up with my mom and dad in a 2-roomed house. So all of us would fit in a 2-room house. Life was merry because we were not quite exposed. So we thought our experience in KOCH is same as other people. But of course, sometimes our dad will take us to his friends, family, and we'll see the different setup. With that will provoke our thinking about this is how we live versus this is how others live, and get to some motivation in between. So some of the merry things I can remember in our family is, in as much as I grew up in an informal settlement, at least my dad was available, my mom was available. So my dad was a fruit seller and later on moved to a taxi driver, but most of the time he would come back in the evening. Until when he started doing taxi jobs, sometimes he will not come back home at all because of engagement and stuff. But they were keen on our education. They insisted on we have to go to school. They were disciplinarian, just to say. And I will say that's a bit of the luck that we got, because they would be keen on who we were engaging with and stuff like that. So most of the time you'll get corrected if you're going wrong, if you rebel too much. There was some level of discipline. So I will say, growing up as a family, so that created a bond for us. So in as much as we lived in an informal settlement, we didn't really care much because, again, there's nothing much we can do.
James says the difficulties he faced growing up was the motivation behind the organization.
Growing up, there were no opportunities. Luckily, I was playing football and I was quite exposed because I would traverse around the country playing football matches. So I was able to see Kenya from a different angle, and that would mean that I will also differentiate my community and other communities that I have visited. And because of that, I wanted to do better for the community. I wanted to be part of making the community better. And it is through that the idea of coming together as a team or as a group arose. So we formed a group that would do different activities for the community, because there was no proper garbage collection. Actually, no garbage collection at all. So most people will dump waste in the drainages. So the drainages in turn will block. And that's where the problem was coming in, when too much rainfall, and then the drainage cannot really be pushed by water, and then they will overflow to people's homes, like my home. So I wanted to change that, and it is through that provoked my mind of now starting an initiative that we can address, for example, the issue of garbage. After all these challenges and figuring out, because young people basically, were engaging in drugs and substance abuse. A lot of my friends, I can actually count my, like with just closed eye and count 1, 2, 3 without hesitating on certain person who through drugs and substance abuse, they're not there anymore. Their life were a mess, and it's a direction that you never wanted to take, but you also wanted to be part of, you know, rehabilitating or helping them rehabilitate. Crime was rampant in Korogocho. It is even today. We still have those kind of problems, but for me was to see how do we change this mindset, how do we drive a behavioral change. And it is through that now we formed a self-help group called Korogocho Hope. So Korogocho Hope came in just as simple as Korogocho, because we live in Korogocho, and because of the drug and substance abuse that many people will drop off school because of drug. Many people will, you know, their life will be ended by a bullet because of engaging in crime. It is through that we thought that we could give Korogocho a new shape. We could give Korogocho a new hope. So the word Korogocho Hope was driven by now thinking of how we can make people be hopeful again despite the challenges that are there, and that's how we settled for the word Korogocho Hope as a self-help group.
With a variety of programs on board, the organization has partnered with several entities to help achieve their goals.
A few activities I can talk about was transforming a dumping site and a criminal hideout area into a community park. So through our network, because we wanted to forge or to move on with meaningful networks, that will help us, make a turnaround event for the community, drive behavioral change, make community realize its full potential. So one of the activity, which is something we're really proud of, is what I'm talking about, the turning dumping area and the criminal hideout into now a community park. One other activity I can talk about is having a girl center ICT training, and it's a concept, or it's an idea that was driven mostly by young people in Korogocho, Kariobangi, Dandora, who would find themselves pregnant because, again, of huge disconnect between parents, their guardians, and now these little ones that are growing up. So we came to realize that even as the government had statistic on young girls are getting more and more young girls are getting pregnant in school, which forces them to drop out of school or just makes their life difficult. Because we have them in the community and we could see the drastic change in their lives. As KOCH Hope, we thought, because we are an impact-based community organization, what can we do to such girls? So in that way, we developed concept and sought for partnership. Of course, we got a very meaningful partnership that we were able to have a training center for these young girls, teenage and young mothers, in our center here. So the idea was, because you see, there's this young lady and there's this young boy or young man or whoever. So once a girl gets pregnant, for the boy, they just continue with their normal lives, leaving the girl behind, figuring out how to take care of the baby, learning new skills of taking care of the newborn. In the process, getting into too much financial crisis, because again the child needs to be taken care of. Again, for example, some of them are lucky, the parent would maybe support them, but you see, that's not what the parent would wish for. They would want their daughters to just finish the education and figure out their life as they move on. So what we did, we provided a space for them for education. So we were able to mobilize for resources like computers. We had 30 new computers, and we got 60 teenage and young mothers to train them around web design and development and sexual reproductive health. also because I speak so much about meaningful partnership. So there is another organization that we partnered with because of the issues of young girls here being able to access, for example, a simple stuff like a sanitary towel or a dignity package. So we will present our case or build a concept note on how we can partner to support these young girls, yeah, and we will look for people who that's the area of expertise, so it will not be a problem for them to support us in that way, just to make sure this service gets closer to the community. So we will work with them, and they will supply to KOCH some of these dignity kits that they use. And then the young girls will just flock into KOCH and get their towels, for example, to just take care of their reproductive health as well. Another impactful project was basically a water light bulb project, and these are things that we figure out on. This is how our area looks like. This is, for example, the setup of the structures. Call them houses, but basically they are structures. So we analyze on the structures on how they look like, and then we ask ourselves, for example, what can we do for the community? For example, the water light bulb was mostly driven by a lot of accidents that will happen within the household, especially for the house that have young kids who are just moving around, because the way the structures are built, it's iron sheet all around, or mostly iron sheet at the moment. So the house will be pretty dark because sometimes there's no window, sometimes there's just a space kidogo for the window, so there's not enough light in the house. And getting electricity, we all know it's in as much as the government talks about making electricity affordable for everyone, it's something that hasn't been implemented yet. So how do we come in? So because of these accidents, we will figure out what we can do. One of the things we did was to introduce the water light bulb, yeah, whereby, because we just closer to the biggest dumping site, I think in Kenya, we will get there and get the Coca-Cola bottles especially, clean them and put now clean water. We do have clean water as KOCH. I'll talk about it. So with the clean water, we will add some detergent that will make the water to not decay for at least a period of 2 years, and then we will pierce a hole on the roof, which is basically iron sheet. Yeah, pierce a piece in there, bring in the water bottle with some coverage on top. There's a certain coverage we did on top to avoid it being because of the hot sunlight and stuff, it will not tear out easily. So there's certain lid that we covered with. So with this water light bottle, what will happen? So when the sun rays hits the bottle, it spreads the light in the house, which makes it like I don't know, was it 60 kilowatt or something, like equivalent to that kind of a light, huge light, by the way. So we were able to do that in like around 500 to 600 homes within KOCH, and a number of between 7 and 10 non-formal schools. So we will do the same. So like, for example, if a school will go home at 5:30 p.m. because the darkness is coming in, now with the water light bulb, there will still be some light up to around 6:30, so they could extend their revision period or their learning period because of that impact.
The residents of KOCH have embraced these transformative programs, and it is indeed a joy for JAMS.
We've been able to build a name for ourselves based on how we work with the community, because we try to do things differently. We try as much as possible to hold integrity, and in that way, working with the people that we really are looking for example, the most needy. During that project, again, to just talk about the impact within the community, the people who will provide water for the beneficiaries, right? They were people within the community. So we will contract them to be supplying water to different households, because again, getting this water for the different household, we never wanted them to walk at a longer distance. So where they are within KOCH, so we will get the water vendors within those locations contract them, they'll be supplying water for 20-liter jerrycans of water every day to the community, to the beneficiaries, and then we will pay them. So those are kind of the results that we get for the community. So the community is super grateful for KOCH Hope. They have good word for us as well, and the best thing will be like to speak to a couple of them and talk about KOCH Hope because of the way we uphold our integrity, because of the way we forge for meaningful partnership and basically meaningful projects.
Tabitha Wamboi and Boniface Odhiambo are amongst the beneficiaries of KOCH Hope, while Moses Bwire is the finance officer.
Hii organization inaitwa KOCH, kuna madam anaitwa Rose ambaye nadhani yako hapa ndani pia. Alijaribu kunifikia na wenzake, hakuna mwenzake hapa nje. So kunifikia wakanioji, sababu ile tulikuwa tunajuana sana, alikuwa karibu. Jina sijui lakini tunajuana, watu tunaonana. But aliniconnect na Rose akaniongelesha, kanambia nikae na matumaini, tutaona venye kuko na kama naweza pata usaidizi. So tumekuwa tukiwasiliana kwa muda.
Alifanya kitu ya maana sana, juu alikuja kunijulia hali na pia hizo swali niliuliza bado ni za maana. Nashukuru sana na Mungu awabariki.
Ningependa kuwashukuru sana sababu wamesimama na mimi na wamenionyesha ukarimu, sababu sio kitu rahisi. Unaona, nilikuwa naishi kama sijui kwamba kuna organization kama hii ama hii nini ambayo inasaidia watu, lakini ile njia ambayo alinikujia na wakanipatia moyo, nilishukuru sana na nazidi kuwapongeza. Wamesimama na mimi hata kama hapo nyuma wakuwa na, lakini at least ile mawaidha wamenipea tayari ilikuwa inafanya na shiba na naridhika.
I actually knew MAINA through my brother. So the age mates, they were in the same school, they played football together. So in them mingling, that's when I got to know MAINA. And later on I came to find out that he runs KOCH Hope. So when they needed some advice, or rather to some, I'd say some expertise in the field of finance, in handling the finances of KOCH Hope, that's where we had a sit down with him and he asked if I could join KOCH Hope. He's a leader, he's a teacher, and most of all, he's more of a hero, especially to this community, KOCH, KOCH, urban settlements. He's a hero because he's done so much for the community. I don't think he's self-centered, because if there was any bit of being self-centered in him, then I don't think much would have been done, especially around KOCH Hope. So people have learned from him. We've created opportunities for so many people, especially the ladies and young mothers. We've enabled them to learn like some life skills, and it's through his expertise, because he's an expert in IT and everything. I'd encourage him to because I know he's a visionary guy. He has big plans ahead, even for KOCH Hope. So I'd encourage him to probably keep his head high and hope, not even hope, be patient enough, because more and more big things will be achieved and more is coming.
So far, James has achieved tremendous success, but also encountered several challenges.
As much as you try to support us as much people as possible, some people will still feel that you've neglected them. For example, in this case, the 250 households that we are working with, we have a huge number of people that are thinking that we are being biased. But figuring out on the measure that we've taken to make sure that we get the most needy, we still get feedback of oh, you people, you just focus with people, some people every now and then, you've neglected us. But you see, when you look closer to this guy, he's not as needy as most of the people. So sometimes they just don't understand the nitty-gritty. For them, they feel that because we're in KOCH, we need to get support same as the other people. So not being able to satisfy everyone is a challenge for me. So the other thing is also like a challenge from the government. For example, the Start Small project, the one we are supporting community against the COVID-19. Because the project will lie squarely under the health docket Ruaraka sub-county, because remember it's during the COVID-19 and we are providing kind of interventions, and it's like wash-based intervention. So like the hand washing station, the water, provision of water to the community, so kind of lied squarely under the health docket. So we will get someone on to explain how we are considering the health department, for them to be sure that we are not causing more problem, we are adding value to the community. So sometimes project being halted because of this process, which has made us better, because with time we've been able to figure it out on who are the key stakeholders that we need to reach out to and to bring them on board to be able to implement a project successfully. So previously have been projects being halted because of not following the right procedure, and sometimes, especially the huge one, not having money to sustain the CBO. So most of the time we will just squeeze ourselves to see if we can make a small budget to do whatever you want to do. For example, print the pictures on the wall because you want to tell that story, but there's nobody who wants to fund us to be able to tell that story. So it's upon us to figure out how we can raise some money to do something like that. So raising of money especially, it has become a very huge challenge. We have great concept, like for example the biogas I showed you down there. It could serve a very good, even though not a very big community, but at least a number of households could get connected to this gas here. These people use stoves, the cook stove, the paraffin stove, the jiko, the charcoal jiko, which health hazard, and it's not doing any good to the climate change, for example. So getting a partnership to support us, because we have the amenity, we have the gas, we've been able to trap the gas, but now we lack the support or the goodwill of people who can support us now with the expertise that we need. So those are some of the huge challenges that we feel they pull us behind a little bit. We're not able to do as much as we want to do because of lack of this expertise. So lack of funding and lack of now expertise, and lack of the rightful partnership. Those are some of the things that stagnate us or kind of pull us behind.
KOCH Hope is dedicated to the betterment of society and is therefore working towards a brighter future.
There's a huge drive that I have working for KOCH Hope, like waking up in the morning, getting myself ready to just come work for KOCH Hope to support the most needy people. I think the motivation for me is the urge to see better communities, is the urge to enlighten people on their potential, and this is mostly driven by me growing up in Korogocho, lacking what I lacked that the government could have provided, proper amenities, and other things, for example, like just proper schooling, sometimes not being able to go to school and stuff. So that's pretty much what drives me to live my community better, and I feel like that we're getting there. So that's what pushes me every day in the morning. Leave my bed, leave my family, come to Korogocho, figure out how much we impacted, what we are not doing better, and how we might want to do it better. So I prefer working closer with the community and being in the community than now, working along East Africa, which is a good thing. It's a very good exposure. It will make me travel to different areas. I have worked in the Netherlands as well, but you see, that's now me as James, bettering my life, my family life, taking care of my family. That's me as a person. But also, in retrospect, how about if I did not get a chance to be able to traverse the country, to go out of Africa and see other countries, how they look like. If I did not get that opportunity, then maybe I will not be motivated to create an impact for somebody to see the world in a different view. So the urge for change, the urge for better community is what drives me to keep on working for KOCH Hope. to the viewers or audience out there, this is what I would want to share with you as a piece of advice. Yeah, you see, the community that you live, because we all come from different communities, the community you live in, where you come from, as you progress or move forward with your life, yeah, I think it's best, or it's just fair, because the community have pushed you to where you are in whatever ways. So it's best for you to just take a pause and reflect a bit about what you can do for the community with a little support, be it advice, be it, you know, financial or whatever kind of support. Yeah, just make sure that you keep yourself in debt or indebted to support community in some way, because communities are really suffering. There's kids out of school that lack just basic things like books, for example. You can play a huge role in buying just a book or a pencil for these young people, or just playing another role to better your community. So as we live in the community that we live in, let's just do a thinking on how we've impacted the community and how we might want to live it better. So live your community better as you found it, to pave way for the new generation. That would be my message for you.
Let us all therefore use every opportunity we have for the betterment of our communities.
KOCH Hope, we are found in Korogocho, Ruaraka Sub-County, Korogocho Ward, and we are based in a location called Korogocho Grogon A. That's where our physical location is, and it's along Outer Ring, Kamunda Road. So we are off Kamunda Road. After Outer Ring, you join Kamunda Road, and then we are off Kamunda Road. You can also find us in social media. We have KOCH Hope CBO, KOCH, KOCH, HOPE, Hope, and then CBO, which stands for Community-Based Organization, in Facebook, in X, and also in IG. Those are some of the areas that you will find us. Look out for us. Let's have a conversation and see how we can do a meaningful partnership.